Everybody, it is week 15 of the NFL. The season from the past. Thank goodness for the Bears thinking things up with their record. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Aldo. You look great. Everybody's looking good out there. Looking forward to talking some football, getting ready for the holidays. Aldo and I have made some difficult decisions in our time, but this wasn't too difficult. We're taking off the next 2 weeks after after this show. Quite frankly, Christmas Day, do we work or do we worry about the 3-10 Chicago Bears? I don't know. I'm trying to, juggle things a little bit. But we'll be off for a couple weeks because we also got some other things that we're working on in the future too. And Aldo has to take a break because you know what? He's got about 17 other shows he's got to produce and get ready for. He's got a network that he's running that's up to 13,000. Remember, folks, make sure you tell your people if you want really all various Bear takes because or various White Sox takes or hockey takes or whatever you want. It's right here on the Barroom Network. There's no doubt about it. Check it out. It's outstanding podcast channel. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. I think I know some quality. This is quality. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the godfather of the Barroom. Aldo, what's your middle name, Al?
Ray.
Aldo Ray, named after the former actor Aldo Ray.
That's right.
Period.
That's right.
Right?
Aldo Ray, a 1950s movie star. My mom named me after him.
Yeah, very bitter man at the end, unlike yourself, though. Very bitter.
Well, I don't know.
No, you're not bitter, but but he was a very bitter man, the Hollywood system, this or that. And there was another Aldo Ray that was married to one of the King sisters. And the King family used to be in the 60s, a musical family, somewhat like the Lawrence Welk Show. And one of those King sisters was married to a guy named Aldo Ray, who played the steel guitar. Okay, which is a flat guitar.
Right.
I mean, I want to see. I'm sure there's something out there. I'd love to see like Clapton play the steel guitar.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Because I know Ronnie Wood. I saw a thing of him, the Stones at the Beacon. It was a smaller show. It was in Scorsese's thing about the Rolling Stones. Ronnie Wood. They have a country western song, the Stones, and they're geniuses. They wanted to get played on the country channels back then. And Ronnie Wood plays the steel guitar. It's absolutely outstanding.
Wow. Man, you are a Renaissance man. You know about sports, movies.
Oh, yeah. You know what I wanted to do, Al?
What's that?
And maybe someday I'll get my dream. I had the idea of doing 5 shows a week. Okay. Monday sports. Tuesday politics, Wednesday entertainment, okay. Thursday lifestyle, okay. And then Friday, I forget what it was about, just general topic, general opinions.
Yeah.
Every day I wanted to do that, okay.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm still not in my prime yet, I feel, so I still got
You just entered your 70s. Come on.
I'm just in my son. Give me a break over here. I mean, my God, Gene Hackman, they want him to come back. He's 96. Come on.
96 years old is Gene Hackman? Wow.
Great story about Gene Hackman, tough as nails guy. What you saw from him is what you got from him. I mean, in Hoosiers, Gene Hackman, serious. He was at times difficult type of guy to work with. That's fine, But he got in a fender bender, and some young guy on Highway A in California, it's in Wikipedia, got out of his car in a road rage type of situation.
Right.
And Gene Hackman was 75, beat the crap out of him right on the highway. Beat the crap out of him. Yeah, I think he's an ex-Marine too. So what you see is what you get with him.
Yeah, he was a great actor. French Connection, The Conversation, the Package, which was filmed here in Chicago. I can go on if I.
Hoosiers is unbelievable.
Yeah,
he didn't really like making it. If you read about him, he was difficult on the set. Plus, you had other guys you had to juggle that were out of their minds, like what's his name? The guy that played Hopkins. Was it Hopkins?
Yeah, Dennis Hopper.
Out of his mind at that time, you know. So, that was a great, great movie. But yeah, Gene Hackman, The Conversation. Hey, I love Welcome to Mooseport with Ray Romano as a guy that's trying to run for mayor against the former president of the United States. And I think that was his last film.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wow. I don't know how you remember this stuff. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo, man. I take in all the fun. I didn't do diddly in school because none of it. And when I mean none of it, interested me. What am I sitting there for 6 hours? I'm like 9. Going, what am I doing over here? At that time, I'm going, what am I doing? I got some woman walking around in a veil and black dress going, let's pay attention or I'm going to kill you. I go, okay, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, those Catholic school nurses in Chicago were
nuns, not nurses. You needed a nurse after you dealt with the nuns.
That's what I meant. Yes. That is wild. All right, let's talk a little football because this game against the Bears and the Eagles reminded me that this is the first time these two teams have played since this happened.
And he hits the upright again. That's impossible. And the Eagles run out into the field, but there's still 5 seconds. So they've got to get back. He does it again.
Two things happened there. That was basically the beginning of the end for Mitch, no matter what. Beginning of the end. Because that pissant couldn't kick a ball through an upright. It basically sealed Nagy's fate forever as any viable head coach. Because if they win that, I think they keep rolling. And Mitch is still the quarterback of this team. He's got confidence. I saw a sad thing happen last week. I don't think anybody in this town can tell me anything about Mitch Trubisky. I know more about Mitch Trubisky than anything else. Believe me, I don't make an argument. My mother said, geez, if you would have just finished high school and gone to college, you could have been a pretty good lawyer. I go, yeah, that 6-7 year gaps, I could have stated a case. I can state a case for Mitch Trubisky now. Okay. I'm with you, Chris. Elder likes to welcome the holiday season with cheer. Okay. So I'm watching last week, and he's completely gone now. He's done. They took his confidence. They pulled him from 2 halves when he had a shot to win both games, one in Chicago and one in Pittsburgh. I still believe in him, but they ruined this kid right now. He's like Seabiscuit. He's being groomed to be brought in, maybe have a few games because he did not make the number 2 status, although he would have if that kid makes one of those 2 kicks.
Yeah.
And then the rest would have been history. And he would have been the quarterback and we'd be winning games. Maybe a lot of the other players would still be on the team. So I watched him last week and I said what they've done to this kid is criminal, man. What they've done to this kid is criminal. You can like him or dislike him. But last week he came out and said, I got to make something happen. And he just forced the ball in 2 red zone situations, which he never would have done. Okay. In any other game, it's the worst game I've ever seen him play, without a doubt. And I admit right now, he's an incomplete, but it looks like I was wrong about him for now. But I remind everybody that Jim Plunkett was a bust. Steve Young was a bust. Ryan Tannehill was a bust until they got in the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that will happen for this kid and that he can bring something back, because what the Bears and the Steelers did to him is criminal, and what the media did, because I haven't seen, I know Pittsburgh, and they're hoping for this Pickett kid. They'll never win a Super Bowl with him, ever.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it from me. They're going to have a long, long time, because they need more around that team than just that. But Mitch played terrible last week. Now,
real quick, I mean, the first series that he went out there, though, Mike, he led them down to a touchdown like in a 4 or 5 play drive.
And then he got another touchdown for him, but he also threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
I just think he threw balls in the middle that he never would have done.
Mm-hmm.
But he's desperate to get on the field again.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're desperate to get on the field, you're going to do things that are uncharacteristic. And you know what? You got to admit when a guy plays bad, and he had another shot, and there was a couple drops and and this is the best. Even with that, guess what happened? Blocked field goal. They win the game.
Yeah.
So he's been haunted by kickers his career too.
He has.
There is no doubt about that.
That's so sad.
But let's hope today the Bears, I think, can cover this game. Now, I bet the Bears 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
1, 1, and 1. Right? My push was Atlanta +3. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They got to buy. They're 8.5-point dogs. Okay? I can't believe they wouldn't cover this game. Now, is Justin Fields still hurt? He had a lot of time off. And can he make something happen? And I'm hearing people predicting the Bears are going to win this game. I will not go that far. The Philadelphia Eagles are a pretty good team, but I did, because I do research, folks.
You too.
I'm going to tell everybody this right now. You know what they don't say on the radio until maybe I come on? You know what they don't say in America until maybe I come on? They don't tell you that the Philadelphia Eagles have the second easiest schedule in the NFL this year. Okay?
Ooh.
The Chicago Bears had one of the toughest.
The toughest right now, yeah.
So, and the Giants were number 1. So you see the Giants at 1, Philadelphia 2, which is weird because they're in the tough division, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yet, if you look up the rankings of easiest schedule, I thought I looked it up the other day. I had to check it 7 times, at least with the service I checked. The Eagles have had an easy schedule. So maybe the Bears can stay within the 10. Hopefully they give a good accounting of themselves.
All right, we got a couple of Trubisky comments in the chat. Renewable says, Mitch gets the start today. Should you put the mortgage on a Pittsburgh victory?
No, I won't do that, but I'm happy he's starting again. And apparently Mason Rudolph is on the outs with them.
Yeah,
I'm happy Mitch is getting another shot. Okay, but I'm disturbed by how they handled them this year. When you're winning 10-6, and when you're losing a game 10-6 and you're pulled at half, just like in this year's game, just like they did with them at the Bear game, pulled them at half, and then disaster struck. Well, disaster struck again. Pickett's had 2 concussions, okay, in the last month. That's the guy your future's banked on?
Yeah.
Because two concussions, that means, and they're not being hits in the head. He's getting hit. You can get in concussion without getting it, but that's already a problem. Because if I'm Pickett, and I never gave it. I mean, I drank a lot. I had 3 concussions a week. It's called a hangover, right? I learned how to function. Okay, I went by feel. Jigs, is that you? Jesse. All right, let's go. And then everything would go good. But I didn't have to worry about being hit. And if you've had 2 concussions and you're that young, you got to start being a little concerned.
Absolutely. DTS Holmes does not agree. He says it's crazy how 2 organizations disagree with you on Trubisky. He's just not good.
Well, name me a better quarterback since before Cutler for the Bears. That's what I thought.
But Mike, that
because I will not. I will tell you this.
Good.
I will not say Justin Field, who's got a record of 5-21, is there yet. But I'm hopeful. Okay, he's either gonna, because before he gets killed before he gets hurt, okay, we can hope that we see something out of him because he's killing himself to try to win a game and he can't right now.
Yeah.
He needs to come from behind victory. Here's what I'll tell everybody. Say whatever you want from Kirk Cousins, okay, about Kirk Cousins. Justin Field would never be able to do what he did yesterday. And not too many quarterbacks could. That was an unbelievable game, badly coached by, I mean, he makes the rest of us who know something about coaching, know I have coached and know something about the game, look bad, Jeff Saturday. You can't possibly blow that game. When you're winning 30, you can't possibly blow it. Just run. Just keep going. Just let the clock keep moving. Oh, my God. But you know what? I'm hopeful for Justin Fields. But here, Justin Fields could someday be an MVP. And then someday later, because he's a running quarterback, be Lamar Jackson, who can't put 10 points on the board. That's gonna. These are still question marks in our Bear fan base. It is
Absolutely.
We got question marks, and not just it. And by the way, I know they lost yesterday, but they said the biggest difference, and they still played pretty decent defense. In the Ravens' defense has been the acquisition of Roquan Smith. So, 25-year-old guy, see you later. I mean, if you're not going to trade Fields because he's young and you're not going to trade Kmet because he's young, why would you trade Roquan? Because he probably had to get paid.
Yeah, but, do you think the Bears should have paid $20 million for a weak side linebacker?
You know what? I'm with you. But then when I'm watching the shows, these NFL shows, and I'm hearing, my God, the guy that's really solidified the defense is Roquan Smith. I'm with you, Aldo. I wouldn't have probably never done it, but that's not our decision. Okay. I would have waited at least a week, which they didn't do with Quinn, because after the New England game, Chicago can bring down the fan base, no matter what team, as fast as anybody else. We beat New England. They traded Robert Quinn right after the game. Hey, the Sox will be better this year. They're going to be great. The rebuild's finally going to work. The White Sox have gotten rid of Jose Abreu, who hit 300 this year, but it was time to get paid. And for White Sox fans out there, it's been very quiet, and I don't blame you, because it was time to pay Jose Abreu. And all of a sudden, we got to get rid of him. And who picks him up? Houston. Okay. This is the pattern. They rebuild until it's time to pay somebody. I'll give you another one because I know what Aldo says. Well, give us another example. I can read his mind. Come on, Mike. See what you got. They told everybody Mark Burley was done. We're not paying Mark Burley. He goes to Toronto and goes 40-28 with a 3.68 ERA. He wasn't done. They were done because they had to pay him. And every time there's a major guy, instead of paying our own, we go get a Grandel. We go get Adam Dunn, and we pay them instead of our homegrown guys.
Crazy.
And that's their problem.
Crazy.
And then, I know we're doing a Bear show. They finally get smart and sign a Sicilian. Okay? Now, Benintendi, Andrew Bennett, they wanted him before Moncada. They wanted him and Devers before Moncada. And with the White Sox, when they want somebody, if it's 30 years later, they'll try to sign him. Okay? We wanted you back in 2022. It's 2030 now.
That's right.
And he's had ups and downs. He was better early, but he's won a Gold Glove last year, 2021. But he's got to stay healthy. That's his main thing, because he can play. He's only 28, so we'll see what happens.
So who's this guy the Cubs signed yesterday? The shortstop.
Dansby Swanson.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of that?
I was with my buddy yesterday. We had the Basta Pasta reunion. We had Shaky and Jesse and Schwartz and BB, who, by the way, won 2 Emmys. And Aldo knows this.
Yeah.
When you have never produced before, and then you put together a TV show that wins 2 Emmys.
It's pretty awesome.
I go, gee, what else can you do? And she goes, well, what's this? And she doesn't take credit. I go, you never produced before. And she ran a crew of 12 men. And that's the days when you had to bring the big cameras through the restaurants and run the cable. She was, that's all I'm going to say about my lovely bride, that she did that. But yeah, I mean, just fantastic. And Jesse told me, I said, what do you think about Dabney Swanson? This is a Barroom exclusive, because I was with him when it broke. In fact, he went in BB's office and had to do some stuff for ESPN. And he told me it's a good pickup. Swanson's a good ball player. I go, what about Nico? Oh, I keep hearing this. Why don't we pick up Korea? Why don't we pick? I go, we got Nico Horner. But they're going to move Nico to second. And they're going to put Swanson there. And they seem to think that Nico, and I think Nico's got a decent arm, but Swanson's will be the better shortstop, and Nico's going to make the conversion, and that's going to be a pretty good combination, in my opinion, because I love Nico Horner. Okay, yeah. I love the guy, so I'm glad he's going to move. I'm sure he's good with it. It's not Sandberg did it, so I mean, a lot of other guys have done it. So I think it was a good deal for them. They had to do something. Although now you get rid of Wilson Contreras, and why? This is another one, buzzkill. You ready for that buzzkill?
Oh my gosh!
Okay, we're talking about the Bears buzzkill, the White Sox buzzkill. Okay, let's go to the Cubs buzzkill. Everybody knows that video I put out last year when I told Hoyer, "What are you doing? You keep Happ, you keep Contreras. You might as well have traded him if you're going to do this. Let him go to the Cardinals. Buzzkill. Buzzkill. Oh, they didn't know that if you tell me the reasons you let him go, and I think Eldo's safe in assuming this, we all grew up liking the Cubs. I was a White Sox fan, but I liked the Cubs. I wanted them to win. If you tell me the Cardinals think he's a great acquisition, I'm going to believe the Cardinals. I'm not believing the Cubs. So that was bad. Houston picks up Abreu, and the Cardinals pick up Contreras. You can't get any worse than that with two guys that were pretty popular in Chicago.
Oh, fan favorites, no doubt about it. A couple of questions I want to get to here, because at 9 a.m. Central, I believe it is, we have got a World Cup soccer game, and King Pookie Nation wants a tip. Who you got winning the World Cup, or do you care?
I don't care. You know what? And I know that people are betting it. I know that people are interested in it. I'm not a hypocrite. First of all, the U.S. is out. Okay. Second of all, I don't see Italy anywhere, or Ireland. I don't even think they were invited. So I have no interest. Now, Carmen DeFalco says, well, we can root for Argentina. No. I'll watch an old movie on TCM. And hopefully it won't be a Fred Astaire movie. Because, my God, somebody loves that guy over there. Play me some John Garfield. Play me some Edmund O'Brien, for Christ's sake. Everything I turned it on this morning, Fred Astaire dancing around again. I could never get into it.
Me neither.
No, sorry. If I got to talk to a girl, I have enough trouble talking when I'm standing still. I'm talking to her while I'm twirling her over my head. Forget about
it. Chris Watts wants to know about Deshaun Watson. What do you think about him playing for Cleveland?
He's a scumbag.
Enough said, huh?
I'm sorry. Any other corporation in America, I mean, if you say hello to somebody, you could be put up on charge. This guy, I mean, man, you talk about a harem. Gotta have a school bus for a reunion.
Yeah.
And I think you know what? And he hasn't played all that well. I mean, and I probably should have, we knew that, but they were
take a while for him to get going, but maybe
considering he should still be suspended, the fact he's playing, it's very good for him. So
I agree.
It's a black guy. It's a black guy in the NFL, and they are really downplaying it. They're
Mhm.
downplaying it. They're not trying to make a big deal out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris calls him a wanker. He agrees with you. He says, I think the same thing. Mikey's a wanker. He would have been better off wanking instead of going to.
I think the best thing for him would have been to be a full year suspension. This makes the NFL
Absolutely.
look weak.
Mhm.
All these women's rights groups,
Mhm.
you know what? Don't be an advocate, or don't be even for women's rights, and then stay quiet when something's uncomfortable, or you have a position in the National Football League in either the media or an executive position.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just bad news.
Yeah. Hey, I played the double doink replay of the.
What's coming up next? The Hindenburg?
No, well, almost. Do you remember the Fog Bowl game?
Oh, we got saved.
Yes.
We got saved.
How about it?
Listen, I told Ditka. I told him to his face, we're dead in that game if the fog don't roll in. We're dead.
And there it
Dead.
is.
Well, yeah, look at that. Don't tell me there's no God. You know what? God said I haven't thrown him a bone since I don't know when. Let's give him another break. I mean, my God, it looked like a forest fire. It
Yeah.
looked like a forest fire. Like, you see these reporters in the woods outside. They go, "Hey, there's a forest fire. It's crazy, and some homes are going up and stuff like." There's been less smoke there or less fog than there was in that game.
It was the craziest thing ever. I mean, even the players themselves were saying, I could not see. Us watching on TV, we couldn't see. The announcers could barely see. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think that Randall Cunningham beats us. I love Randall Cunningham, and I was fearful of him in that game, but Jay Sanders says it right. Buddy Ryan always shot his mouth off. Always. About Ditka. Shut up. You were 0-4 against him. You were 0-4 against him as a head coach. That's the end of that. Let's move on now.
Indeed.
He was a good coach, but he shot his mouth off, caused a split with the head coach.
Yes.
We had him on the score. I wasn't enamored with him on the score at the time, but we talked. But he was a jagbag. I mean, my God, he was just like Ditka. And they had a division, and yet with that division, the players galvanized for both guys and won it. It's a really historic team.
Really? Yeah, indeed.
We need Buddy back. We want Bernardo Letter and everything else. And I'm not saying they wouldn't have won a championship with Buddy Ryan. All I know is Buddy Ryan had a pretty good team at Philadelphia. He built a nice squad there. Then they didn't get it done.
Yeah.
And I think that was their chance. I loved Randall Cunningham.
Awesome.
They talk about Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. And if I needed to win a game, I'm taking Warren Moon or I'm taking Randall Cunningham. That's it.
Two of the best, indeed. Yep. All right, let's look at some of these NFL games. Well, of course, we'll start off with the Bears and Eagles. The spread is 9 points. The Eagles are giving away 9 points. I got to believe that it's not a bad idea to take the Eagles giving away 9 points, given how superior they are to the Bears right now. What do you think?
I'm going to take it's 8 down. I think it might have gone back up to 9, but I checked earlier, it was 8.5. So that means that they're getting money on both sides, or they can tangle, or sometimes they get hardly any money and they mess with the lines anyway to make you think they're getting money. It's called trickery. I would probably take the Bears. I'll tell you what, the over has come in 6 straight times. So do you keep taking the over? I think probably you keep taking the over. I don't have a play on that, but even on Carmen and Yurko's show with Jesse, my buddy Jesse was sitting in. I took the Bears in that, and it was 9 at the time.
And Mike, I'm not saying that the Bears are tanking, but I do think that their play calling has turned very conservative, perhaps because of the injury Fields suffered, or whatever reason. And Chase Claypool is not playing today. I just think that the Bears, the Eagles, want to win more than the Bears right now.
Yes, they do. But the Bears, you're right about what happened in the second half. I should have won that. They should have won that game. I don't know what happened. Fields only ran twice in the second half.
Right.
He stopped. He started playing like he had lead feet. His passes were intercepted. The team seemed a little lost. I don't know if the coaching staff pulled back, but that was a signature win that he needed. that was a signature win.
Yeah,
You beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. You bought yourself another year.
indeed.
You bought it. And instead, what do? They go into a shell. And he stopped playing. He stopped playing. I mean, because this guy, I'm waiting for him to rip off a 50-yarder. He didn't rip off a 2-yarder. So he just played completely different. And I was upset about that. That was the game I've been upset at. You got to beat the Green Bay Packers. And, I keep hearing that, vote Justin Field for the Pro Bowl. You can't. I mean, he deserves to go to the Pro Bowl. But who are you going to keep off? Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers again because we let him. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It really is. But I would probably say Dale Sayers made the Pro Bowl on a bad team. I mean, Justin Fields deserves to be recognized, but who are you going to keep off?
Somebody in the comments just said that Mitchell Trubisky made the Pro Bowl. Why not?
Of course he did. He had a great year. I said this year, if Justin Field had Trubisky's year, they'd build a statue for him.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't come to fruition. We'll see what happens down the line. I don't understand the shots at Trubisky because I've been here with Aldo.
Mm-hmm.
Those were our good years.
Collect Baseball is complaining that we have not talked about the Bears the entire first 10 minutes of the show.
And his name's Baseball.
Are you saying he's an idiot?
Drift.
Oh, Lordy.
We talk about a lot of things, but some guys saying drift baseball says we're not talking football.
There you go. Eagles and Saints are playing today, and the Falcons.
Falcons. What, you got your notes mixed up?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I didn't sleep much.
Well, I don't. You never sleep.
I never sleep. Falcons +4, and the total is 43.5. I like the under on this one. What do you think, Mike?
I'm at a loss for words that the Saints are favored against anybody. I know Atlanta's not all that good now. But yeah, they seem to have lost their way. Mariota's back to being relegated. I'm with you on the under. I'm not going to bet either game probably, but I would probably lean under on this.
We agree on that one. And let's take a look at the Cowboys and Jaguars. This is going to be an interesting game here because the Cowboys they lost their last game, if I'm remembering correct. No, they had that comeback win, didn't they?
Right. I like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think the Jaguars, and by the way, Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own. He's got a good coach in Peterson. They got rid of that loser Urban Meyer, who I still don't know why he's on TV. I don't care what kind of TV guy you are. If you think everybody wants to look at Urban Meyer, okay, after all the nonsense in college and in the pros, you're crazy. But that's why, I don't turn on halftime or pregame shows. That being said, I'm taking the Cowboys.
Gotta like that bet. Cowboys.
I thought you were having a seizure for a second. I didn't hear you. I thought it's finally happened. One of us is going down.
I'm going.
The 1 hour difference. The 1 hour difference in show times has killed us.
That's right. Lions and Jets. Are the Lions a good team, Mike?
Let me put it to you this way. When they were 1-6, Ryan Poles would have abandoned ship for the Lions. If he would have said, we're in a rebuild, we're going to trade all our stars. Thank God he's not. I'm the first guy to say I was wrong about Quint. I call him Quint because he, in the new Jaws movie, he should be the Robert Shaw character. Right. Coach Campbell. I think the Lions, listen to this. They were 1-6. If they win out, they'll have 10 wins. If they win out.
Wow.
So I would ask everybody out there, especially that guy whose name is Baseball that wants to talk football. Where would you put him as coach of the year? Because right now the Eagle coach is like minus 300 to 1. But Campbell, who I had fired after they lost their last game, right here.
Yes, indeed.
I had him fired. And I think a lot of people say, I said, this guy's got to go. Well, they've done nothing but win since, and he's 12 to 1. So I have a great sponsor in Prop Swap where they take in future bets. What everybody should do today, Well, I'd wait till the Jet game, but then the odds will go down if they beat the Jets. Maybe buy a 12-1 shot, and then if they start winning, you can put it on PropSwap and sell it for more money than you paid for it. The problem is, one little problem. This is a Zach Wilson who sucks.
Oh, that's right.
This is a Zach Wilson redemption game. He needs this game for his reputation after he didn't take any responsibility. Their first string quarterback, Mike, I forget his name, got hurt. The free agent guy. So I would take the Jets. I'm taking the Jets. They got a better D.
Berlissimo says something that's not right, Mike. The Lions have had tons of draft capital on both offensive and defensive lines, totally different to the Bears situation that Poles inherited. He thinks that was a bad take.
Okay, you might be right about that. And we will also name his name, his moniker and his profile name is Bear. No. But I will agree with him on that. They have more younger guys, but they had some of those guys last year. They've had those guys before. Goff was considered finished. Goff was finished. Panned. Okay? So you start at the quarterback position. But then Spielman took over. Chris Spielman. And the front office changed. I'll agree with you except for one thing. I've been hearing for 20 years that they were all that. We've been hearing for the last 10. Believe me. You know how many people have lost money betting that the Lions would make the playoffs over the last 10 years? They were the darlings, and Calvin Johnson retired. I mean, that organization's been so bad. Barry Sanders retired in his prime. That organization has been so bad that they haven't won a championship since Bobby Lane said, $1.50 for a bottle of rum? That's a good buy. You know what I mean? They haven't won a championship in so long that Bobby Lane had no face time. So, and they played at Tiger Stadium. So you could say whatever the Lions capital is. This guy came in and they were 1-6 and they sucked to their gun. I don't think Berlissimo was talking much about the Lions and their young talent when they were 1-6.
All right. So who you're saying the Lions?
I'd rather have the Lions talent.
Okay. Laz makes that good point.
I will say that.
Yeah, Jared Goff playing in winter temperatures outdoors is probably something to consider as well. So.
I agree, but I know this. Miami almost beat Buffalo yesterday, and I heard they weren't even going to show up because it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
You think any football player likes playing in the cold? I just walked my dog. I grew up in this town. Okay? I made ice when I worked for the Park District, 100 feet from Lake Michigan at Sam Leone Beach. Okay? You know what I said? I grew up here, so it's no big deal. No. You'd almost get frostbite. Nobody wants to play in bad weather. And I do agree, playing indoors helps. Would Dan Marino have been as good a quarterback if he played in Chicago? I don't think so. Would Peyton Manning? We all know what he would do if he played outdoors in bad weather. He crapped the bed. He played indoors. Okay? I mean, so I understand where you're coming from, but you got to take it to him because he played in nice weather, Goff out there in California. He led him to a Super Bowl. But don't you think, Aldo, the coach has made the difference on that football team? They got a guy that looks like they'll strangle you if you don't put up 100%.
I'm not a big fan of Dan Campbell, but it's hard to argue with the results. It's a team that gets inspired by his behavior. So
his behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of him. I'm going to do push-ups and all that stuff. Come on, just coach and stop talking crap anyway. Next game.
There's some bulletin board material. Send it to the Detroit Lions.
There you go.
Yeah.
They get it every week from me. KC and Houston Texans. The Chiefs are giving away 14.5. They'll probably win by 28.
You know what? I was in that contest at Circa, and the two teams that killed me, that knocked me out of the box, were the Chargers. They couldn't cover this year early. and Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, after this year, has to go. Should never be a head coach of an NFL football team again. He's coaching the cover 2, which is 10 years too late now. You shouldn't be doing that. His talent basis, I understand, isn't as good, but there's a 14.5-point spread today. I stay away from this game, but there's no way. And the money line's astronomical, as you can see. You got about 1,100 to win 100. It's a stay away game. And wouldn't you know it, if you did bet the money line and to win the 100, you'd probably lose. Something might happen. Mahomes could get hurt or something like that, and then you're screwed.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I wouldn't bet on it, but if I was forced,
it's an embarrassment, though.
Yeah, it really is. Poor Lovie. Yeah. We'll see if he survives.
Bad.
Yeah, man, oh man. Steelers, your team. Trubisky's being trotted back out there. The Steelers are getting 3 points in Carolina. What say you on this big matchup?
Well, I'm honest with about, as Eldo knows. Eldo, I think, understands that the reason I've been around so long is when I back somebody, I'll say if I'm wrong, or I'll say he played like crap, like I just did. I think he's got to bounce back somehow today. I know the Panthers, and isn't it special? Is Sam Darnold playing Trubisky?
That is correct.
I think he is.
Yes, he is.
This is the Mike Lombardi special, because I went on Visson and argued with Lombardi about Darnold, and he argued with me about Trubisky. He said he wouldn't take Trubisky with a discount, and I said, yeah, but how's Darnold doing in New York? Oh, I'm sorry, he's gone. And then, one thing, like, we just had some fun, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought the 2 guys starting today would be guys that had such high hopes? One from USC, the other one from North Carolina. And I'll be rooting for Mitch, but this is going to be an interesting one.
Indeed.
I'll be rooting for Mitch. I'll tell you what, the Panthers seem to be on a little bit of a roll, and they got rid of Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean? And they seem to be playing better with Darnold. So let's see what happens. I'm not touching it. I don't need to touch it. I get on my knees and I go, please, Mitch. I need some backing here. You can't have another bad game. Dear Lord on high, help me, please.
I got
you know what I hear after the game? How's your boy Mitch?
Of course, you're gonna hear it a million times.
I'll be hearing that till 2050. I'll be 120 years old. How's your boy Mitch?
They'll be saying it at the wake, right?
Yeah, as they're putting the hearse in. How's your boy Mitch? Of course, that's 32 years down the line. So
of course, easily 32.
I'll still hear it.
I got the
I remember when you said Maldonado. Don't cut it out.
Let's go to Denver, where probably the worst game of the day, maybe the decade. The Cardinals, underperforming Cardinals, and the Broncos. Both of these coaching staffs could be looking for jobs very, very soon. The Cardinals are getting 1.5 points. What do you got on this game, Mike?
Cardinals. I took the Cardinals. Last week I had the Broncos on the bonus pick on Carmen and Yurko show. They were getting 9. They lost by 6. It was a good win. I'm going to go opposite. Nobody needs to win more than the Cardinals. I know easier said than done. Kyler Murray to me is, people talk about who would you trade Justin Fields for. I wouldn't trade Justin Fields for Kyler Murray, period. Okay? Don't tell me I don't back Justin Fields, because Kyler Murray's got some good credentials. Okay? But I wouldn't trade him. Now, I know Justin Fields and I know Kyler Murray, and when you got to put in a guy's contract, do you promise to study film for 4 hours? You're not my quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. I know McMahon didn't study a lot of film. Okay. So, Mike, he broke 72 NCAA records. Okay. Well, Murray's out, and I understand that. But when Murray's in, I was just saying I wouldn't trade him for him. Yeah. Is it Colt McCoy playing today, or is he hurt? I mean,
I think Colt is in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And by Colt McCoy has. Look, not all of us are this fortunate. I know. People look at me and they go, you look like you're 40. I know this. It's the Irish gene. Colt McCoy looks the same as he did when he played for Texas, for God's sake. It's freaky. Okay? The only problem is he doesn't play like he did when he was at Texas. Okay? So, I love Colt McCoy. I like Arizona. I took him on the bonus pick regardless of quarterbacks. That's not how my system works. So, that's it.
All right, let's move on to the game in Las Vegas, the Patriots and the Raiders. This is a good game to bet on. The spread is 1.5. The Patriots are getting that. David Carr is struggling at quarterback, but that seems to be the case almost every year. The total is 44.5, and I like the over on this game. Mike, what do you think?
I'd like to see Mitch Trubisky go to the Raiders because Derek Carr for 10 years hasn't won a playoff game. Derek Carr is a huge disappointment. Yet this guy gets to keep a starting job. And this was a playoff team last year. Josh McDaniels, I've already said this. I wanted them for the Bears. But you know what? You can't take over a playoff team and not get it done. Okay? And they haven't gotten it done. Now, on the other side of it, I respect Bill Belichick, but I'm so tired of him. I really am. I do say this. Somebody told him to upgrade his wardrobe so he wouldn't look like Eminem at the age of 64.
I noticed that too, yes.
Remember when he'd have the hood on and he'd look like a complete, utter imbecile, and he had the cut sleeves like he was drunk, and he, when we were kids, we'd cut our shorts. One would be higher than the other and all this other crap. Okay. Well, I said, I wonder why. Did the league talk to him? No. They wouldn't talk to Bill Belichick. He'd tell him to go screw off if it's about the clothing. Plus, he wears the Patriot logo. But then it hit me. George Halas always dressed nice. Okay?
Impeccable.
If you're going to pass George Halas up, you better upgrade the wardrobe a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
And as soon maybe he's been doing this all year, but I remember a couple earlier games this year where, quite frankly, it looked like he was a homeless man just looking for a cup of coffee. Okay? But as soon as he broke George Halas's record, he's got the nice sweatshirt now. He's got the hood down. His hair is combed because Don Shula, Vince Lombardi, the joke is he looked like a grocery store manager. He had the short tie, but he was dressed up. They used to dress up. So this is Bill Belichick's way of saying, okay, I'm a top 2, top 3 coach now. I'm going to upgrade the wardrobe. I like New England.
Yeah, I like New England in that game too. Yeah. And then Q from Cincy has been waiting breathlessly for your prediction on this game. It's the Bengals giving away 3.5 points at Tampa Bay. The over-under is 44.5, and the money line is plus 166 for the Bucks and minus 198 for the Bengals. What do you got for Q?
Tom Brady is weird. I heard him at the podium this week going, we got to prove to everybody we belong and everything else. And I already did this game and computed it. I got some sad news for Q. And let me just say this. I told you who I wouldn't trade Justin Fields for. I'll tell you who I would trade him for. Joe Burrow. Okay? So when you look at that, but then you look at the guy on the other side, I've spent some of my most horrifying times of life betting against Tom Brady. Okay? He was like my Dan Marino. I used to hate to bet against Marino. There was nothing worse. Marino's got 6 seconds. And you're going, no. And then the ball would go, and boom. Okay? Somehow, some way, I think Tampa Bay wins this football game today.
Wow.
And and you know what? Barrelissimo, there you go. You know what, Barrelissimo? I really, that tells you there. Would you give Tampa Bay 10? Would you give Tom Brady 10 points? I'm just asking.
I don't think
because that's what basically you're saying. I wouldn't, but I do not want to. There's a couple guys I don't mess with. The Parisis.
I love it.
I remember I went to the bowling alley and Aldo goes, "How you doing?" I go, "Did Barlissimo make the trip?"
Q
I love everybody.
Q is shocked. He says, "Wow." He says, "The Bengals are on fire. How can you?"
I agree with you, Q. If they win, good for you. I love Q. Q's been with me since the Fox Sports Radio days. Happy
Mhm.
holidays, Q. You're a loyal guy, man. I don't forget anybody or anything that helps make us and keeps us going. You've been a loyal guy. Period. I don't. If they win, they win. I'll be happy for you.
Yeah, I will be happy. I'm pulling for you, Cube. And the
But I will
final,
also take if Barlissimo would like to give me 10 points in the Bucks, I'll just go a meager $10,000 right now with you.
you guys hook up on the DMs on the Twitter thing.
Let's just make it a sandwich. You send me one, I'll send you one. I'll get you Tony's Deli Pappy South. We'll send it across the pond.
There you go.
I got 10. We'll see what happens. And Barlissimo, me and him will be nutty enough. I'll have 1,000 on the game, and now I'll be going, I got to beat Barlissimo for the sandwich. I got to get him. Forget about the money I got on the other games.
That's crazy.
Because
All
it's fun.
Oh, absolutely.
It's more than, it's about pride.
The final game I have is the Titans and the Chargers. The Chargers are coming off a big victory. The Titans playing good football. They're getting the +3 at Los Angeles. I always have to think, where the hell are the Chargers playing? Is it Vegas? Is it San Diego? Is it Los Angeles?
It should still be San Diego with the
Oh
new
my
stadium.
Gosh, yes.
I mean, my God.
Chargers
Just
are
a
giving
no-nothing stadium. I mean, it's a beautiful stadium, but that they have 2 teams in that town when we didn't need one for 30-some years and the league was rolling. But, now they got their home teams play on the road there. The Chargers and the Rams are road teams, okay? Except Tennessee. I don't know if they have a parking lot for covered wagons, but that's beside the point, okay? Or for the country western band buses, okay? And I love Nashville. By the way, this is going to make baseball man happy. White Lotus, have you seen it yet? White Lotus? Wait, you're off. You're muted. Did I miss you?
Season 1 I saw. Season 2 I did not.
This is the best one. I'm telling you right now. And George and Tammy. I'm watching that.
Mhm.
Let me just say this unbonafidely. George Jones was out of his mind, Jake LaMotta type, out of his mind.
Wow,
Okay.
that bad? Whoa.
Bad.
Wow.
It's the guy that loses in a game of cards, gets up, the bathroom's 10 feet away on the tour bus, zip, right on the floor. Completely annihilated.
Jeez.
Pretty tough on Tammy Wynette, and she sang that song, Stand By Your Man, unless he shoves you through a doorway. Crazy.
Oh, that's
You
hilarious.
got to watch that one, Neldo.
I will. I've started to record that one, George and Tammy. I think episode 2 drops tonight.
No, it's episode 3 tonight.
Okay, so I'm a
Yeah.
couple episodes behind. So
I
I
will
will.
get back to football for baseball, guy.
I think he left.
He had enough.
We insulted him.
Baseball guy. We didn't talk Bears.
So do you like the Chargers or the Titans in this game? The Chargers are giving away 3 points at home.
The Chargers screwed me 3 times this year. So last week I said, it reads Chargers. You think I'm stupid? So I laid off, and then they covered. So maybe they're on the right side. Herbert's a heck of a quarterback, but the rest of the team, I'm not a big fan of their coach. He's blown games for him. And also on the show, I've been talking about a couple things I got wrong. Eldo's been here. John Harbaugh sucks as a coach. He's won the Super Bowl. He sucks. Last year he lost a couple games for him. He sucks. They're tired of him. All right.
Yeah, he needs to move on.
He needs to go. I'll take the Titans with my guy Ryan Tannehill.
All right. Okay. So that covers our action. We got a late caller here. By the way, a couple of things here. Bellissimo says that if he sends the sandwich, it'll be as stale as Brady's balls by the time it gets to you. Skeet Dog joined us late and he says, Mike, you really have a problem with Justin Fields? Sorry, I'm late watching. And this is almost over with. But Mike, it's a new era. Justin will shatter all Bears records and make new ones. What say
I
you?
have no problem with him. I've bet the Bears because of him. I haven't won yet. I just took him as a pick today. Okay, +9. The only reason I do that is because of him. The reason we lost last week is because of him, or 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. He stopped playing. And you know what? When we're going to, I never blamed him for some of these losses. We would have never had the points we've had. But that Green Bay game, I was angry at him. I have that right. Because I put money on him while you were wearing a field jersey going, honey, can you bring me a Kool-Aid? Okay? Enough. I just said Mitch Trubisky sucked last week, and Justin Fields, I'm picking him. I don't know what I got to do. Oh, I know. You tuned in late.
It's going to haunt you forever. It's going to haunt you forever, Mike.
Oh, the Trubisky thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, what happens when I'm doing something good? And it won't, and then I'll be back.
Dude, what would be a good team you'd like to see Trubisky on?
Raiders. Okay. After Derek Carr, anything's better. That team's got talent. Devontae Adams, you got Jacobs in the backfield. You know, I've always wanted Josh Daniels to be with Trubisky. That doesn't mean it's going to work. They believe in Josh Daniels. They had 3, 4, 17-point leads. He's an offensive guy, and they blew those leads. So we'll see what happens next year. They can't come back with Derek Carr. I know, and I probably fear they will. He sort of got a Cutler-like mystique with that organization, just like Cutler did with the 8 useless years we had with him, even though he did fill up the stat sheet. So he's got that sort of aura, don't you think, Eldo?
Absolutely.
When is Derek Carr ever been? I mean, they made the playoffs last year, and then he crapped the bed.
That is very, very true.
Yeah.
My good buddy Adam Sham, who we need to have on here soon, says he thinks that Herbert is going to shred that Tennessee last-ranked pass defense. The Chargers should win easy. Arthur says Mitch could be a starter in the USFL. It's just not going to happen.
I just think of all the guys. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when Steve Young, look up Steve Young's stats real quick with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Aldo.
Sure.
And then when he got skewered every week, and he was playing with a bad organization. Now, I looked up Steve Young's stats, and I thought I remembered him getting blasted every year. And then I looked up Tannehill, and I looked up, just all these other quarterbacks that were supposed to be done that are still very relevant. So maybe there's that hope. So we'll see what happens.
How does, in his first full year of starting for Tampa Bay, how does 14 starts, 8 touchdowns, 13 interceptions?
Yeah. He was horrible. And then I think he only threw. I think his record with them was 3-16. They said he's done. And then they made that trade where he goes with San Francisco, and he just went with a great coach and organization, and he had to sit behind Joe Montana.
Yep, indeed.
And I remind everybody, Steve Young only won 1 Super Bowl. He was a very good quarterback. He got with a good organization.
Yeah, and his first season with the 49ers, he threw as the backup to Montana. He threw 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and fans were already going, "Holy cow, we might need to put him in there."
He went from bust to let's push Joe Montana.
Here, Skeet Dog regarding Mitchell Trubisky says that Mitch isn't mentally tough. He wanted all those TVs off at Hallis Hall. It does seem like he could perhaps get a little bit of that mean streak. He needs to drink a couple of whiskey shots.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with him. I thought that I don't know if you tuned in at the beginning, but Eldo will tell you, he's lost his edge. He's lost his confidence. And that happens when you're Seabiscuit, when you were supposed to, they had Seabiscuit groomed to lose to other horses, and they won't. Nagy never cut him a break. It wasn't Mitch that didn't meet. They called off the meeting with Nagy. It was Nagy. The coaches that he's had, okay, Tomlin abandoned him. I don't care. You think Pickett's going to win? Okay, fine. He's already out. They took him over Mason Rudolph, who knows the system as good as anybody. So I'm hoping Mitch does a better job today. But his statistics and his winning record will always be with me. His game last week, though, was deplorable. I'm fair up with Mitch, and most people haven't been. I think most people have been hard on him. I know this: if Mitch was 5-21 as a starter, he'd be sitting. No matter what stats he was putting up, he'd be sitting.
That's a good way to end the show, Mike.
Merry Christmas to you. And may all your dreams. Hey, that's what the Bears do. That's what the players do.
That's right. We'll be back in a couple of weeks after the new year for week 17 of the NFL. And Mike North, you are the absolute best. Take care.
You are. And I wish you and Don a Merry Christmas and everybody at the bar room, everybody we love there. This bar room thing is big. It's huge. We got things coming up, me and Eldo, that we're going to be working on past football season. We'll let you know when that's going to happen. Don't worry about it. We got all the time in the world. I'm just kidding. I remember Don Rickles real quick saying, listen, if I'm lying about this guy, may I be paralyzed? It's on stage. He goes, may I become paralyzed? He went, now today you get kicked off stage for that. You know, how dare you become paralyzed when you're not? So long, everybody.